So today I'm going to talk about how I found my way to Toastmasters. It all started about 16 years ago when I was in college and I had been studying Japanese just a little bit. I think I took about 2 quarters. And I was searching for jobs when, at the time, search engines were not so great. And I forgot to filter out where I was searching for jobs. So all of a sudden, this job popped up, and it was in Japan. And I was like, oh, Japan? That's great. I'd love to go to Japan. Oh, teaching English? Man, I don't know if I want to do that. And then, long story short, I went to this job interview at a company called Amity, and they were doing these different type of trainings for how to teach children, like maybe the ages of from like 3 to all the way up to junior high school or something. And you had to create interactive games and do a lot of role playing. And then after doing all that, they asked me, so where in Japan do you want to go? And me thinking, oh yeah, I'm great at Japanese. I totally can do this. I was one of the top students. If I go to the countryside, probably no one could speak any English, right? So I was like, I want to go to the countryside. And then, so a few days later, I get this email that says, congratulations, you got the job. Welcome to Yonago, Japan. Now, you guys probably all never heard of Yonago before. No. Don't worry, because most Japanese people never heard of Yonago either. So Yonago is in Totori-ken, which is the smallest prefecture in Japan. It had about 150,000 people. And from there, I remember when I stepped off that plane, it was like a complete culture shock. So first off, I flew into Kansai Airport, and right when I got on the escalator, I remember I was standing on the right side, just waiting on the escalator, and then I could see these people behind me. They looked all frustrated and flustered. And then I was like, huh. And then I just moved to the left side, and all of a sudden, a slew of people just started running up the escalator. And I realized in Japan, people who are going to wait on an escalator wait on the left side. And they let the right side run up. But that's only in Kansai. In Tokyo, it's the exact opposite. So you have to remember these kind of things, right? And that was the first culture shock I had. Then second, I was standing in the road, and I was talking to just any random person. I was completely lost, right? Google Maps wasn't around at that time. And trust me, life without Google Maps, I can't even remember what life without Google Maps is anymore, right? And so I asked this old lady, sumimasen, sati wa doko desu ka? And that means, excuse me, like, where's the supermarket, sati? And what came out of her mouth, that was not Japanese. I was thinking, what? I studied Japanese for 2 whole quarters, and that certainly was not Japanese. So then, I was completely dumbfounded at how little I knew Japanese. So I spent that 1 year in Yonago teaching children, and in that year I learned that teaching children is definitely not my passion or my career. That's why, actually, I don't even plan to have kids after that. But after that, I decided, okay, I need to improve my Japanese. So I went to Tokyo the year after, and I studied Japanese in Tokyo. And all of a sudden, skip a few years later, the huge tsunami incident happened. And I was actually working in Tokyo on the 6th floor when I felt the walls started cracking, and I freaked out, and we all ran out. And at that moment, I was like, I can't stay in this country anymore. This country is over. Like, this country is going to end, and I don't know what to do. So I came back to America, and I thought to myself, well, how am I going to keep up with my Japanese now that I'm back in America? So that's when I found SV Jet's Toastmasters. And at first, I thought, okay, this is great. I'm going to be able to practice my Japanese, and I'm going to be able to give speeches. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, everything went hybrid and started getting really lazy, not having to memorize speeches anymore, just write it and kind of put it on your computer screen and make it look like you're making eye contact. And my Toastmasters experience started going downhill from there. But thanks to that, I was able to actually meet a lot of people, a lot of dedicated people for public speaking, for improving content, for willing and wanting to teach Japanese. And it also introduced me to Toastmasters. So now I'm back in Southern California. There is no bilingual Japanese and English Toastmasters. And I have a wedding where I have to be the best man and give a speech in about 1 month, exactly 1 month from today. And that's why I joined this class today. So,
Thank you, Ron.
yeah.
For being at Japan.